In 2013, Oingo Boingo and his husband Michael changed the Smith Month Act. They modernized it, which meant taking away the protections of it. Basically what Smith Month did was it prohibited the government from using entertainment and news for propaganda. Well, you changed it so that now you can. But they have no obligation to tell the American public. So since he signed that new act in, taking all the regulatory bite out of the original act, which is from, I think, 1947, they put that in. And that's why you see the stuff you see that qualifies as propaganda in commercials, in news, in movies, in TV. They marry that with ESG. Forget what it stands for, but what it does is it's a thing that pays the bill for productions that are made to progress society in some way. So, you know, all the stuff. Which means it's underwritten. So you see these movies that fill the runtime with this propaganda bullshit. No one likes them. No one wants to watch it. But they don't care if it does well or not, because it's already paid for through the CSG. So with the combination of these two things, that's why the media landscape is the way it is. That's why every commercial is a stupid white guy. Every movie's the stupid white guy. Every TV show is the stupid white guy. Video games is the boss girl, stupid white guy. It's all boss girl, stupid white guy. Strong and brave, diverse characters populate the rest. That's propaganda, you know. And it can't be challenged. You know, with that act, were it to be in place, I know you could challenge some of this stuff. But you really can't, because they're legally allowed to do that. It's pretty interesting. You should read up on it. It's cool. It's cool. It's not cool, but it's good to know, you know. And that's why I'm really happy about this writer's strike. It means the propaganda stops for a little bit. We're given a reprieve from the endless barrage of effeminized, stupid white guys and diverse girl bosses. All the late night talk shows too. They all go off. They all get yanked. These people are looking for more money. They're looking for more for what they do. Like, this isn't like the writers of like the early part of the century or the 90s or something. These are like modern writers. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to say anything. You know what the deal is, you know? But they're demanding more money. I just pray that this somehow goes on forever, and we don't have to deal with anything for as long as possible. I remember the last writer's strike. It fucked up a lot of movies. You know, I've watched documentaries about different films, and they're like, well, it had to be finished during the writer's strike, and that's why the script ended up being shitty. You know, that's why this TV show got canceled. But there's nothing good out there now. There is nothing good. So, I mean, and I kind of detach myself from media, except for music. And I've been apart from it for, you know, I think that I got the television out of my house in the early part of the century. I think 2005 maybe. It was right after 3/11 down. I was being bombarded by that thing. I only wish I had moved it out beforehand, because unfortunately I took the full brunt of that spell because I was home the morning it happened, and that it went down. And I remember watching it live, like as it happened. So, whatever spell or ritual that was there or was cast, I was right in there. They had everyone's attention too. I think, the falling, it was built to come down. That we'll always be down, 311. But, yeah, I think it was like, well, I don't know. I was going to split it up and say, I think the actual event was meant to get the eyes on the TV. But I guess either way, it doesn't matter. Before it happened, there's this documentary that Matt over at Quantum of Conscience went through one time. It's called like The Day Before or something, or the Last Day. And it chronicles all the events leading up to 311. And that it was just set up. It was set up like a party. Like it was a ritual, right? And like all the pieces were put into place. It's really, really creepy. All the stuff that went on with the numbers and the colors and the people at certain times. And of course it doesn't go, it's a normie kind of production. And it's supposed to, it's not a conspiratorial thing. It's a straight ahead, like looking at the day before. If there's anything that's kind of weird, they'll say it's a coincidence, and a terrible coincidence. But if you know what you're looking for, like someone like us, you see all the stuff. It just jumps right out at you. And yeah, Matt did a good run through it. I haven't tuned into him in a long time. I mean, I don't know what his deal is. I don't watch too many. I've been just busy doing my own shit. I mean, occasionally, like, I'll watch other people, but they're usually like smaller guys like myself, because I just don't trust anyone else anymore. Like as time goes on and the veil gets thinner, we can see things easier and see things better. I just look at stuff now. I'm like, oh, this is a pro job. This is a pro. I noticed a new one like that. I was watching this interview with Brittany Vitale, and there's this YouTube channel I think it's called Meme Factory or something, and they have a website. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is a pro job. Because they're desperate. Like, they're trying to find new ways in. I don't know what it was exactly about it. I mean, there's a lot of things about it, but there's not any one thing that jumped out at me to be a smoking gun. And I could be wrong, of course, but I'm not. An independent person just wouldn't do some of the things that, first of all, if you have a team, if you're just starting out and you have a team and production, it's like, well, why? What are you pivoting from? Do you have another thing? Because there are guys that do that. Like, I had mentioned Matt. He was like golf ninja for a while. The interesting thing about him is he was golf ninja, and he did like martial arts and golf. And he wrote a book called Quantum of Conscience about this character who starts seeing all these strange synchronicities and starts to develop the idea that the world might not be what it was told it was to us. And basically what he's doing now is he's playing that character. He's inhabited the character from his book, and he's now living a life of the character that was in his book. So, that's kind of, it's like, all right, well. And then McKinley's his last name. He's got some interesting ties to President McKinley, and there's just a bunch of other stuff with him. He's fine. Whatever. I don't know. I don't care. Just for me, I'm not down. I'm not down. But occasionally with these guys, they have, like I said before, they have to give you some good stuff with the bad stuff. And the reason that is, and we've talked about it here, is because truth and lies are on a frequency. They each have a specific frequency. And even if you don't know what they are, I don't know what they are, you can feel them. Just the same way like when you think someone's trying to rip you off or something. You go, I don't know, I just don't trust this guy. That's frequency. That there's some kind of part of you, a sense in you that's picking that up. So when they present these things, right, they want you to believe the bullshit. So, excuse me. So that you'll believe the bullshit and it'll register. They have to obfuscate the bullshit frequency with the true stuff. And what that does is it makes it so that your senses don't detect there's anything wrong. You absorb it all. You're like, oh wow, that's what happened there? Oh, well that sounds kind of weird, but you know, it makes you confused. It makes you not able to parse out the fact that there's bullshit coming in, because the bullshit is wrapped in a Trojan horse of truth frequency. It's just frequency. It confuses it. It mixes them both together. And they give you more of the bullshit, right? So when you have that, they're both on the same band. It's just like you're listening to the jazz station and the rock station, but you're closer to where the rock channel's based out of, so you might have them both going, but the rock one's bleeding through more. The bullshit bleeds through more. You get more of the bullshit. But there's just enough truth to obfuscate that. It's that's all it is. So yeah, so you can get some good stuff from them, but you have to develop your spiritual shit test. Matt actually calls it inner tuning fork. And that's a good thing. He has a lot of good terms, you know, in spite of the situation. But for new people, right, like guys like Matt or anyone that talks about spiritual war stuff, spirituality, esoteric knowledge, anything like that, for a lot of people, they find like that one guy. You know, if they're interested in it and they're completely uninitiated and they're looking at something like on YouTube, they'll run into a guy like Matt and he'll be their guy for the weird stuff. And they won't go further than that. So guys like him work as like a gatekeeper. It's just like everything else, how everything else is set up in this world. There's always someone to get between you and knowledge, you know. Oh, you want to know about God? Well, here, we have a thing called the church. Come on in, and how do you like my dress? Do you have any young brothers or sisters? Actually, preferably young brothers. I mean, there's always a middleman that wants to get between you and an experience that's in you already. It's not out there. It's a two-part trick, right? They've tricked you into thinking to acquire knowledge, you have to look out there. Things come from out there. And then on top of that, not only do they trick you into doing that, then they trick you into dealing with a middleman. Like this teacher will show you, or whatever. Every single situation has that kind of thing. And yeah, it's tough because a lot of it's stacked against you. But if you can see that, you can understand it, you're already like way ahead of the game. And the game's still running. We're on top now. It doesn't seem like it. We are. And don't let them make you think we're not. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.